Hello and welcome back. It is so nice to have y'all back. I'm not going to lie, this is probably my ninth time trying to record this episode because the things that I want to talk about today are so important to me. I tell you guys that I want to live my life out loud. I want to grab this life by the horns and get all the goodie out of it. I want to go into the arena, and what I'm finding, that's hard. That is so hard. It is easier for me to use filler episodes and use filler content on my social media because tomorrow or next week I'll put on something with meat. And what I'm finding out is going into the arena and saying for me anything that's important or with the good stuff, the meat, is almost a jolt to my system. After 8 years of being a stepmama and nearly 10 years being divorced, there are some things that have come up just in the past couple of weeks that I've had to stare face to face that obviously I hadn't processed or done dealings with. I had a hunch on those things, but it wasn't as clear as for when I sat down to talk about it with each of you. So if you would be patient with me, and just like we said on our previous episode with Jay, Brene Brown says that when you share your story of shame with someone and they respond with compassion, shame cannot live. And I do think that this is what we're here for, is to share our stories with each other. And I want to just tell you thank you ahead of time for being that for me, for being the people in my life that send me these messages that, oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, I felt that so much. I can't even believe you were able to say that because that's exactly how I feel. And I didn't know that anybody else could even know that I felt that way. And those messages are what give me life. So please keep them coming. I cherish them. I tell you I cherish them, but I hope that you do know that I really, really do. They are what those messages, and each of you and the words that you send are the driving force behind this show. In speaking with Amber Berry, she was 2 episodes ago. I love that person more than life. My gosh, is she not the coolest thing you've ever known? Her little accent and just the way she lives this life so loud. It's just my favorite thing about her. And so I knew when we were discussing her talking about becoming a stepmama, I had a hunch that she probably wouldn't take all of that and go into that situation. And I'm not saying you don't need to ease into something, but I could probably tell that she would agree that as a stepmama, she knew what I meant by making herself small or masking or fading into the wallpaper, or making herself less so that she could be more easily consumed by her new family. And what she and I were discovering together is that God looked at that family and decided it needed Amber. And so for Amber not to go fully herself and all of herself, she was honestly depriving the situation of what our Father, our God, looked at and said it needed. And how that can cause you to feel so restless. It can cause almost a deprivation of the family. You're taking away from the family what God sent to it. And how nice that is to step into something and claim that God looked at that and said it needed me, so all of me has to go. I think that's really beautiful. And speaking with her, there was something in the back of my head while we were talking that said, "Do you know that, Jess?" No. As if you don't know the answer. No. No. And so, of course, pen to paper this week and prayer and sitting in it. It's been unpleasant at times. Because it's almost like a tearing away of these protective coatings that I've created to feel more comfortable in these uncomfortable situations. Being a stepmom can be uncomfortable sometimes. Being a second wife can be very uncomfortable sometimes. Telling someone that you have gotten divorced and taken something from little children that had a dream of a family and a mom and dad can be very uncomfortable sometimes. And it was in these dealings this week that I fully confronted the fact that I do not know how to say, if not for my divorce, I would not have this beautiful life that I have today. I don't want to live many more days not being able to fall madly in love with my story, my whole story, the whole story. I'll pick and choose parts that I have accepted and that I feel like I can say in a way that doesn't hurt my own feelings. But if I can't fall in love with my own story, what are we even doing here, right? And so that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to enter into the arena with each of you and discuss the things that can feel uncomfortable sometimes. I recorded this entire episode last night, got done, hated it, listened back, loved it, got into a complete funk, picked a fight with Jay. Hadn't seen him in 2 days. He came in town and I picked a fight with him because my system was unsettled. I was jolted by the things that I was going to put out. And it's nothing new. I've already said it. If not for my divorce, I would not have the beautiful life that I have today. That's uncomfortable for me because I've been taught that you don't get divorced and you surely don't talk about it in fear that you encourage someone else to get divorced. How silly is that? And in not wanting to spread the wrong message, I've prevented myself from fully embracing the rescue mission that the Lord sent to my life almost 10 years ago. And I don't want to do that anymore. I said I picked a fight with Jay. I went to bed early. I usually close my eyes around 11. I went to bed last night at 8:15, and I think God said, you need some sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. I woke up this morning. My first thing I did was apologize to that beautiful man. And we were able to discuss exactly what went down. And I knew that it was important that I give this another shot. So, if not for my divorce, I would not be here where I am today. If not for my divorce, I would not have these eyes to see. I would not have this mind to know. If not for my divorce, I would not have my 2 beautiful stepchildren. If not for my divorce, I would not be best friends with my ex-husband. If not for my divorce, my children would not have a mom and a dad and a stepdad from the Lord. I mean, they won the dad jackpot, let's just be honest. And I pray my stepchildren won the mom jackpot. They have an amazing mom, and I pray that I am an amazing presence in their life, or that I will be once I learn how to fully embrace this. The shame sets in. It's been 8 years, Jess. 8 years. And you can't step into this role fully. You still feel like it's not right. I feel it like it's stolen. I feel like it is absolutely stolen. Because I feel like the way we were raised, and there's just so much programming that needs reprogramming and deprogramming, but the way that we were raised, you do not get divorced. Divorce is game over. And so in my life, my life was, I paused. I pressed the pause button at the divorce. And do you know how I know that? Is because it has almost been 10 years and it went like this. One moment, my children were so tiny and I took a nap or I don't know. I went into this fog, and when I came out of the fog, the two of them were finishing their freshman year of college. And of course, I'm exaggerating. Of course, we've had these wonderful moments with each other and this wonderful time together, but I can feel myself coming out of something that I was in for nearly 8 years. And y'all, I don't want to be in it anymore. I just don't. I don't think God sent the fog. I don't think God has a fog for me. I don't think God wants me to punish myself the amount that I punished myself or any longer. I don't think that God wants me to look at my life and only be able to process the things that are able to process. I think that God wants me to be someone that can look at what happened and look at the mistakes I made and the beauty that came from ashes and praise his name, not looking at it from the side. Like, I know something happened over there and I praise your name for that, but let's just not really accept it or process it or acknowledge it. We'll just tuck it away. I feel like we are supposed to embrace every part of it and be able to talk openly and freely about every part of it. If not for my divorce, I would not be who I am today. Should you get divorced? No. Am I thankful for mine? Hell yes. My ex-husband can sit in that green chair right next to me and we can talk about it now. He could talk about it before I could. He tried to talk to me about it years ago, and I said, I don't want to. He wanted to talk about the good things that came from it because we are a family unit. He, my husband, me, our children, we are a family unit, Cam. We are one big, blended, weird family, and he wanted to talk about it with me years ago, and I wouldn't. I couldn't. I don't think that's healthy for us, you guys. I just don't. I don't think that when God sends a thunderbolt of goodness and mercy to destroy the prison that you've placed yourself in, and you come out and there's a freedom and there is a joy and there is a happiness, and he blesses your life tenfold upon tenfold, that you say thank you, but let's not talk about it ever again. Because just like Amber going into that family and making herself smaller and masking herself, like, okay, thank you for letting me in here, but I'm not gonna make too big of a scene. I'm gonna just try to slide in here and do the best that I can. And God says, no, I sent you. No, I saved you. Tell them that I saved you. Tell them of the amazing things that I've done in your life. God has done some amazing things in my life, and I didn't deserve any of them. And God can do amazing things in your life. You and me, we have got to forgive ourselves. We have got to forgive ourselves. We have got to press play, and we have got to move forward. Because our life is passing us by and people are waiting for us. People are out there waiting to be our friends. People are out there waiting for our good news. People are out there waiting for our help. Someone is waiting in the grocery store just to have a wonderful encounter with us today, and that will float her or him for the rest of his night. The connection that we all have with each other is so important, and we cannot live this life just under the surface of the water because of things that happened in our past. If not for my divorce, I wouldn't know any of you. If not for my divorce, you and I wouldn't be here together today. How awful would that be? Right? When Lily turned 18, y'all know I have several tattoos. I need to do a tattoo tour soon. But when Lily turned 18, of course, she wanted her first one. She'd been planning. She's an artist. Artists are, have a tendency to be covered because they know exactly what would look beautiful on themselves. And she had the most beautiful idea. And so you guys know that we miscarried Abigail, and Lily's idea was 4 flowers for her and her 3 sisters, Abigail, Hartley, Liza, and Lily. The 3 of us headed to Sherman, Texas, to a tattoo parlor there with my tattoo artist, AK. He's brilliant. He's done my favorite tattoo of my grandmother that's on my right arm. And I wanted him to do Lily's because I knew he would do a good job. But we were sitting there, and, the people that come in and out of there, you're just like, the realization set in real quickly that I have a 15-year-old in a place where this has gotten a little bit more adult. Nothing wrong happened or bad happened. It just was almost like maybe we had gone to a bar or a nightclub, something that wasn't McDonald's. And so I overheard AK talking to one of my daughters. I want to say that it was Lily, the older one. And he said, but I think it was Lily. I'm going to ask them because this is one of my most important, this is one of my favorite stories, but I don't know what was said before this to get to this part, but I just heard AK say, how do you feel that you have a mom that would take you to a tattoo parlor? And my daughter goes, my mom encourages us to mess up. And I just thought, it just landed on me in the most beautiful, just ring of love. I just felt so nice as soon as I heard it. And because of the way that I was raised, the way that I was growing up, just so scared to mess up, so afraid to step out of line, in fear that the moment that I did make that first big mess up, that I just would honestly, maybe a hand would come from hell and pull me down, or I would just immediately pass out and die. I don't know. I just really was so fearful of making bad decisions or making a mistake. My mom and I have a joke that when we hear a siren, or a police siren, we honestly think it's coming for us. Like, we think we're going to get arrested. We think we're going to jail, but we just don't know. We don't know why. And chances are we haven't done anything wrong. It's in our DNA. So to hear my little girl say, my mom encourages us to mess up. She said it so confidently and so powerfully. And it's the most favorite thing I've ever heard one of my kids say. In blending our families, you'll think that the kids aren't listening and you'll get caught saying the wrong thing when you think you're alone. And so they said, take that and do something on purpose. Say something positive behind their back. Try to have them catch you. Have them catch you talking, and say something wonderfully positive and uplifting about them behind their back. It just carries a lot more weight with it, and that's what she did in that moment when she was talking to AK. I overheard her say that, and I just thought how the soul connection to that sentence, my mom encourages us to mess up. It just told me that we're on the right track. These girls are on the right track. They're good girls. They're still going to have a hard time making those mistakes because of what is in their genetic makeup and because of the things that have been passed down to them through the ages. But I know that I would have never said that in my teens. I would have never said that to someone talking to me about my mom. And of course, I had a wonderful mom. I can go without saying. But just to hear that she said that, it just made me feel so good. That verse, see here, I am doing a new thing. And that's just, I could just see those generational curses just shattering as she spoke those words. And I'll remember that for a long time coming. When I finish out each of my episodes with my co-hosts, you'll know that I like to finish with the question, What is a way that you felt connection this week that took you off guard? And this week we had Mother's Day. I think that you guys will be hearing this a few weeks after Mother's Day. But as I'm recording, just came out of Mother's Day weekend, and I'm not going to lie, this has been a pretty tough week for me. I got my own feelings hurt twice this week when it came to the mom stuff, and cried some pretty big tears. Luckily, once was to the kid's dad, and once was to Jay. I don't think it would have been good for one of them to have gotten the brunt of both meltdowns, crash outs. And I don't say that to have you feel sorry for me, or if ever my children heard that they would feel bad. That's just how life is. The mom tends to get the shaft in certain things because, we're the safe bet. And sometimes that's hard for me because I do wear my feelings on my shoulders, and I love my children more than life. And so when I feel like that is not being reciprocated, it just gets me in my feels. And so we entered into Mother's Day. I felt a little depleted, and the connection that took me by surprise was just these little moments, like I was talking about a minute ago, where my kids talked about me positively behind my back. The first one came from Cash. He's 12, and he was talking with his friends, and I guess the girls had come up and hung out with me in the loft while he and his other buddy had gone and played, and I just thought that was really sweet. So I got to bond with them. But either way, it had come out to them. They had they had told my son that I was a sweetheart, and he came when they left, and he gave me this big hug with his squishy arms and hands. I love him so darn much. And he said, "Mama, they think that you're a sweetheart." And I've never heard him even say that name, especially referring to me. And it just lit my heart on fire that he would even convey the message to me, because, that extra step is, what makes all the difference. And then the next day was Mother's Day. And it's been kind of fun being a mama to these older ones, because they do have their social medias, and they can do things on their own. They can buy gifts. Two of them have jobs. They can buy gifts if they want. They can drive to get the gift. It's just different. It's a whole different set of joy and fun. And so the first one came from Liza. She posted a story, and she said, "Happy Mother's Day to this chick right here. She's super awesome. So that's why I'm awesome. Thanks, lady." I loved it. And then my Lily said, "To the woman I look up to the most, my best friend." And it was like, I don't know, those holes that had been created earlier in the week when I got in my feels and got my feelings hurt and cried all of those tears, essentially pouring those tears from the cup. It's like those social media posts, that soul connection, and it just filled that cup back up. And I like to pay attention to what does that in my life, and that definitely did. In the same way where you would feel connection this week, a question was asked this week: when you feel that disappointment, what helps? And I definitely did feel that disappointment. And so that's when you do need to have that toolbox of your emotional tools, those little lifesavers that save your day from yourself. And so I wanted to know in my life, what does that look like? And I don't know if this is necessarily advice. None of this is, or emotionally healthy. But for me, I need to take it to my therapist. But for me, I like to do something that makes me feel in control. So if I'm not in a great setting, I get myself to a happier setting, where that's on a walk with the dogs. I love a restaurant patio. We have a Fuzzy's Tacos close to here, and I'll just get River, my dog, and my husband preferably, and I'll get to that patio. And so I'll change my setting. I'll get myself out of that situation that I'm feeling disappointed in. If I can show myself that I'm in charge, it's a good reminder to me that I am the one that's regulating my emotions. I don't need to stay in the situation that I'm disappointed in and pray that it changes so that I can feel regulated or I can stop being disappointed. I can do something that changes that disappointment in myself. And it's almost like I'm high-fiving myself, like, I've got you. I've got you. And that's been a really important thing for me to show myself. It's not come until later in my life. And I think it was from knowing what it was like to be a stepmom, knowing what it's like to be in a remarriage. Things can get uncomfortable in the blink of an eye. It's not even something you're expecting. And I think when it's unexpected, the emotion is that much higher. But it is in that unexpected that the disappointment can flow in. And if you know that you have that valve, that you know exactly what to do when that strikes, it's almost like you can settle and ease into yourself because you know that you have yourself. And so I do challenge each of you to have, we used to call it a ready pack, like a rescue pack. Have that ready for yourself and know, maybe for you, it looks like a workout. Maybe it looks like a bath. Maybe it looks like a coffee, Starbucks, and a dawdle around Target. But whatever it is, I pray that you won't stay in that disappointment too long, that you will use one of those tools that you will have for yourself. And I saw a video the other day that was like, I'm a leaver. I'm gonna be the first one to leave a bad situation. And I resonated with it so much because in my older age, I'm a leaver. You're gonna turn around. I'm not gonna be there. I gotta get out of there. And I do it in the name of, sorry, but I have to take care of myself, because if I'm not good, my marriage is not good. If I'm not good, my children feel it. And I can't afford that. And so putting on your oxygen mask before you put on the kids, I just gotta get out of there. I have to use my free will and my, what is it, go past jail free, or I'm butchering it, of course. I want to do something going forward. I want to implement something into the show so that you guys can have a little bit more of a hand in each show and a little bit more participation. I feel like that will help with our connection. This was actually our team's idea, and I just fell in love with it. And so I couldn't wait to announce it to you guys and introduce it. And so what we're going to do is have a question, whether we use the same question each week or a different one, that's going to be determined. But the first one that we're going to start with is what we've been talking about today. And so, can you think of a time something fell apart, but it led to something better, which is the premise of the whole podcast? If not for this, I wouldn't be here. And originally, maybe that looked like something terrifying, but God turned it into something beautiful, like a butterfly. And so what we're going to do going forward is, if that resonates with you, or if you have a story of that in your life, if you would be willing to participate in our show and send a DM, an email, and even more fun, a voice memo, with permission for me to be able to play the voice memo, to read your message on the episode or your DM on the show, and then we can kind of discuss. I can kind of help discuss that on the show, and so, if any of you would like to do that, you can be one of our you'll be our first set of those. And I think that'll turn into something really beautiful. So I'm really glad our team came up with that. Going back to Lily's tattoo at 18, just like any of you that have tattoos, the moment she got her tattoo, she had her next one planned. And it's been planned for a couple of years. They kept building it up. Like, oh my gosh, you're going to bawl your eyes out when you see this tattoo. You're going to be flattened. And for me, if you build something up, it kind of takes out the emotion. Like if you tell me a movie or a show is going to just make me bawl my eyes out and you just keep telling me and telling me, I can kind of get through the show without emotion because it's built up. And so that's what I told them. I said, y'all, because her sister knew about it. I said, y'all said too much. I don't think it's going to have the impact that you think it's going to have because I think that y'all have built it up for Mom a little bit too much. Well, boy, was I wrong. And boy, were they right. Because they were like, Mom, we can't build it up too much. It's gonna flatten you. You're gonna love it so much. And so they finally told it to me. And of course, it's a song lyric. We love music around here. We thrive on our songs and our music. And it is the song that I have sang to them since they were a baby. I say them, Lily and Liza, because with Cash, I started a new song, which is John Legend. Not the song for the tattoo, but Cash's song is John Legend. Well, the other day I was putting him to bed and I started singing the song I'm going to tell you about, and I stopped and I said, "Oh, that's not yours." And he got so upset. He said, "Yes, it is. Yes, it is." And I said, "No, baby, yours is All of Me by John Legend." And he's like, "Oh, well, that one is too." And so I thought that was really sweet that he resonated with the one that is for the girls, because it is such an important song in our family. And if it is important to him, and finally getting to the point, maybe he can get the matching tattoo as well. But hopefully we all are going to get a lyric of the song. It's "I'll Stand By You" by the Pretenders. And if you don't mind, I wanted to read it to y'all if I can get through it. I love it so darn much. And of course, in singing it to them for the past 19 years, I realized when I wanted to read it to you guys that I have butchered certain lyrics. So I hope they don't want to get those lyrics tattooed, because they will have the wrong words tattooed. But it goes like this. I'll just read you a few different parts. "Oh, why do you look so sad? Tears are in your eyes. Come on and talk to me now. Don't be ashamed to cry. Let me see you through, 'cause I've seen the dark side too." And you know how a minute ago I said, "Come on and talk to me now," because that's how I sing it. It's not that. It goes, "Come on and come to me now." When the night falls on you and you don't know what to do, nothing you confess could make me love you less. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. So if you're mad, get mad. Don't hold it all inside. Come on and talk to me now. Hey, what do you have to hide? I get angry too. I'm a lot like you. When you're standing at the crossroads and you don't know which path to choose, let me come along, because even if you're wrong, I'll stand by you. Take me in to your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. And when the night falls on you, you're feeling all alone, you won't be on your own, 'cause I'll stand by you. Isn't it so neat that something in me, the moment I became a mom, I would have been, 24 years old, 25 years old, something in me knew to implement this important song into their lives that would become more important each year of our life. That no matter what, nothing you confess, and teenagers can confess some shit, nothing you confess could make me love you less. Because that's how it is. Every day I wake up, I love them babies more and more and more. I love my kids more every single day. I love my stepchildren every single day. Do I take a day off of the increase in love when they mess up? It's almost like we've got to get in the thick of it and figure things out together. And that speaks to me and increases my love probably even more than if it were just an extra day of my life. And I think that's a really beautiful picture of how our God feels about us. But, he started out in creation loving us an infinite amount, something our minds cannot even wrap around. But I do think that it's really neat that he gave us a beautiful picture of how much we love our children more every day, through the mess ups, through the tears, through the hurt feelings, through the teenage crosswords. We just love them more and more and more. Nothing you confess could make me love you less. Thank you guys for listening, and here's to all of the unseen turns that lead to something so beautiful. I'm going to see you guys in a couple of weeks. Bye.